What's up, guys? You're watching Revolts and the Grammys Go-To. Right now, we're unpacking the 2018 Grammys. There's a whole bunch of moments that we have to discuss. We have Kai Acevedo, who's the senior writer here at Revolt, Shaheem the Dream Reed, Revolt extraordinaire, Rob Kenner, who's the founder of Boom Shots Media and executive editor at Mass Appeal, Kiana Fitzgerald, associate editor at Complex, and then we got William K. Holla, aka William Ketchum, senior editor here at Revolt. I'm Robert Bristow, senior writer here at Revolt. Before we begin, be sure to hit us up at Revolt TV with the hashtag Grammys Go-To to join in. So the first topic we're going to be discussing is Best New Artist.
SZA had an amazing year, and the project seemed like it was responded well to by like a variety of people. It wasn't just the urban. When a project like the Control Project, which is a real vibey, wavy type of thing, is always like a niche market. So she found a way to make that more of a mass, mainstream type of moment. I mean, everybody on this list, I mean, Uzi Vert, we know, had a humongous year. EXO Tour Life was one of the biggest records, not even just rap records, one of the biggest records of the year. He gets chased in every festival he's in, and it's all because of the music. So I think the competition is definitely there, but I just think SZA kind of let us know like this was like her year, her moment. So
you know, when I listen to SZA, it just feels like almost like a Mary J. Blige, What's the 411 moment, where it's like the voice of the new young black females, you know, like it's almost like she's in that wave that what we've been seeing in entertainment period in 2017 with, you know, Tiffany Haddish and you know, Issa Rae and, you know, some of these other people.
Relatable.
Yeah, like
relatable
very relatable but black. You know what I'm saying? Very relatable. Even with Spike Lee, She's Gotta Have It. You know, these women who are very much in control of what they do. You know, some, if they want to sleep with some guys, they'll do it. They're not ashamed. Plus, she's with the TDE movement, which is their own movement, but then she's able to break out as her own electrical force. She might even have had the best album out of TDE this year.
Top two.
Like, no, of everybody. I feel like her and Kendrick put out two of the best albums of the past year. I think SZA really has developed quickly as a new artist. You know, she's been making mixtapes for a minute, and I think her songwriting especially has like skyrocketed. She's always been an incredible talent in that respect. So I feel like for the best new artist category, she kind of just was across the board for a lot of people.
It's almost like a little bit of a female Andre meets, you know, Mary J.
It's new age neo soul to an extent. Like I consider her and Janae. I think like we
with
don't coin it
natural
that,
hair.
Yeah, just that whole vibe. The whole. Of course, they're not NDRE or like Sunshine Anderson, but to me, like they're like of that lineage.
The one name that hasn't been mentioned, but who I am often reminded of when I listen to SZA's album is Lauryn Hill. It's the vulnerability mixed with the strength. You know, there's some very raw emotions on that record. There's some confessional moments. It feels like she did not hold anything back. And it's breathtaking when you hear that record where she's talking about, you know, when you were out of town and like, you know, like the interview she gave where she said, you know, yeah, that's a true story and he will learn that when he hears this record. You know, like that was amazing. Yeah.
It's raw. That's what it was in my head. You know, one of the things too that I think is gonna win her over is her live performance.
Incredible performance.
Flawless singing. She's not gonna come out there and Chris Brown dance you, but she's gonna sing. She has a lot of charisma. She talks. You know, that would be my pick. I would have Uzi as a close second because I think that Uzi, he's so influential, man. You see a lot of the kids with the braids,
the style of dress,
the
attitude,
the rock
dance.
star.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody showed his move.
He's rock and roll, man, and you know he did that stage dive at Rolling Loud, and I'll be damned if I ain't see a lot more people stage diving after that, trying to go through higher heights. So I think it's gonna be between the two of them, but I think SZA has the edge.
Yeah, I was actually a fan of her as a performer way before I was from her music because her EP Z, I wasn't really in love with it.
Yeah, me neither.
I sort of felt that it was too much too much atmosphere and not enough vocals. And I feel like a lot of singers around that time were just sort of blending in with their songs instead of actually bringing anything to them. But I saw her perform and I was like, oh man, she's incredible. Like, and you know, live vocally, her vocals didn't really like step back the way that they did on the album. So I'm like, okay, her next album is gonna be crazy.
You know, she's still really young, and you know, some people look at her because she's the little sister of TDE in a certain aspect, but you know, SZA's, you know, she's almost 30 years old.
Yeah, she grown.
And, she's a really grown woman, and you know, we see her coming into that.
Before we get into the next topic, please hit us up on REVOLT TV with the hashtag GrammysGoTo so we can hear your thoughts. Right now, we're going to be talking about the best rap performance.
For me, it's between Bodak Yellow and 444.
It would be interesting if Bodak Yellow won because her performance of that song is based on Kodak Black's iteration of his own song. I think that record was huge, but I think if she won, people would be kind of looking at it sideways.
That's why she's gonna win. I think it's Cardi's moment right now. She did a Jack move, you know, but she made it her own. But the song is so big, and you know, when you go out to the clubs and you just see everybody bloody shoes, and it's become such a cult. It's like an iconic cultural, like it's beyond music, it's beyond entertainment, it's world culture, you know, because it's like people around the world are doing it. With that being said, Kendrick, you know, lyrically, with his flow and humble, and that song just rocked, like it was consistent for the entire year. So it's like, damn, you know, I'm torn. Bad and Bougie was so big, and I think Migos continue to be the most influential group. Their style is so mimicked now that, you know, you got to give that a nod too. But I think that Cardi, that record was just so big, it just probably surpassed the fellas. She's performing on the show. You got to give it to her. You got to give her something, so you got to give that to her.
For me, I'm going with, like, everything you said about Bodak is how I feel about Bad and Bougie. I feel like that record was hard to escape. It came out towards the end of last year, and it still kind of had, like, I can't even say legs, like it still ran for like the first half of the year.
I can't fight that.
It inspired memes, it inspired moments. The album was culture, and I think it was also definitive in the sense of the way they were in their careers at the moment. People don't realize it, but Migos had an album out like in 2015, their debut, and it didn't do a lot of numbers. The singles didn't really go off, so for certain people, it was kind of like the Migos might have been over. I just feel like everything that can be said for Bodak can be said for Bad and Bougie. And I guess for that reason, I feel like it'll end up leaning towards.
I think Cardi got a few more quotables though from Bodak. Like,
Even got a bag and fixed my teeth.
That is true.
That is quotables. It's interesting because it's boyfriend and girlfriend in the same.
I was also going to speak on that. 'Cause even I also feel like I would say Offset is my favorite rapper of 2017. Like I'm gonna put that out there. Offset, my favorite rapper of 2017, and for me, Bad and Bougie was the record that kind of started that whole trend. Not only was he like the lead artist on the record, which he did the hook, and we all looked at the Migos as Quavo and his bros. So that was like the first moment of us understanding that the Migos is a group, and collectively.
Takeoff is nice too, even though
Takeoff.
It wasn't until Bad and Bougie, even though he's not on it, like Offset having that
like
standout moment. Even that, I mean, even these moments, like all of these moments, whether it was the Joe Budden moment, whatever, they were started with this record. So I think this record was culturally important for so many reasons, and then it was a fly record.
I think that Migos' success is what might hurt them in this category because besides Bad and Bougie, they got I Get the Bag and You Fumble It. You know what I'm saying? Like they had so many records, so many hits that it's hard to just hone in on like one thing. Cardi, Bodak.
She left it
that's her thing.
She put it there and she left it.
Tunnel vision. We looking right at that now.
Yeah.
Even, you know, like artistically, Cardi had the vocal like pockets on it. She had the flow. She had the voice. Like she really like delivered everything that song needed perfectly, which says a lot because she's like a brand new artist pretty much. Right?
When I'm in the club, Cardi B comes on, all the ladies gather around their phones, they're all doing the lip sync, it's great. Bad and Bougie goes up in the club, Kendrick, Big Sean rapping their ass off. At the Grammys, Jay-Z, 444.
I like how you set that up too.
Yeah.
444. He's not rhyming. He's singing, like he's pouring his heart out, and then there's not even a hook.
It's not a quality song when you really think about it in terms of how we broke down like Kendrick's Humble, from flows to the bars. Yeah. But like you said, it's Jay-Z,
like,
and
it's Jay-Z saying those things.
I would have put Family Feud instead of 444.
I agree.
As far as
I would put OJ. I thought OJ would have
disagree with that. I don't disagree with that, but I think that the song 444, it conveys vulnerability that we didn't even see that much of in rap this year, much less from Jay-Z ever. The vulnerability that he gave flow-wise, like it really, I mean, like you really felt like you weren't supposed to hear it. You know, like it sounded like he was saying this to Beyonce and like you just sort of were like peeking in. Absolutely.
And to your point, we really need like 4 different genres of rap now. You know, it's not one genre anymore.
And in a way, I don't want to separate it, but in a way, it feels like it has to, because
it's a new game.
It's a new game, and it's some things that's being overlooked because it's not being separated.
Yeah.
I say the Grammys go to Jay. Of course, if you have more to say, hit us up at REVOLT TV, #GrammysGoTo. So, best rap song performance. You have Black with Problems. You have Golden, Crew, featuring Shy Glizzy and Brent Fayez.
Love that one.
Please.
Jay-Z's Family Feud, you mentioned that a little while ago. We have Kendrick Lamar's Loyalty, featuring Rihanna. SZA Love Galore, featuring Travis Scott. Let me cheat and just throw these out there, and you guys do what you want. Black and Gold Link, their record. So Black's Problems dropped in 2015, and it grew enough buzz to grow legs in 2017. For that to get a Grammy acknowledgement, that's a feat of itself. Same thing with Gold Link. The record dropped at the tail end of 2016. I don't even have to say words.
One of the songs of the summer.
You know what happened.
Easily. Going to your point, we have Jay-Z and Beyonce on the song.
No Khaled, Wild Thoughts. Any nominations? I just think that's
was
crazy.
A big song.
That was huge.
That was a big song.
That's crazy.
That whole Khaled project was massive,
Yeah.
and not well represented in the Grammy voting.
That's almost criminal.
Yeah.
We need a snubs list.
Yeah, that's right up near the
Wild
top
Thoughts
with Tribe for the
got
snubs.
I thought that Kendrick and Rihanna could have been, it was a big record, obviously, but I thought it could have been bigger, but it was released the same time Wild Thoughts was out, and Wild Thoughts, I think, kind of overshadowed it because it was such a monster. You know, Khaled had the cheat code that we all love, and he brought back that Maria, which has a little bit of Wu-Tang in it too, so it's like, he couldn't lose.
But also, wasn't Wild Thoughts before his album dropped?
That's what I'm saying. Wild Thoughts had that momentum, so when Loyalty came out, had a crazy video. It was big. It did what it was supposed to do. Yeah. But I felt that Love Me has been a bigger record than
than
Love
Loyalty. Love is huge.
Yeah, Love is a bigger record than that to me.
Which is so weird because you have Kendrick and Rihanna on the same song.
But I think it was just too close to Wild Thoughts. I think like if Loyalty was to come out right now, another space shuttle ride for Kendrick. But it was just so close to Wild Thoughts. Yeah. But see, Love came out enough space after, you know, those records died down. And I think Family Feud, I'm gonna go, I think that's a moment to have Jay, Beyonce come on stage. And I like the song too. I like everything that he's saying. The video just came out.
The video's incredible.
That's one of Jay's top 10 videos.
That is a movie.
I agree.
His whole rollout for 444 has been like the most immaculate thing that we've seen. Everybody know that Jay-Z doesn't like doing music videos. Well, people who don't know now, they know he's not the biggest fan of doing music videos. This is the first album in his whole career that we've seen a video for every single song. And he found a way to put these visuals out without having to be heavily involved. Like, he's in some of the videos, you know, but he might just step in for a second in one of the videos. And
I think him doing all these videos is definitely the Beyonce effect. The whole album itself is because of Beyonce. So this is her Grammy. Like if she wins this is her.
Trying to take everything from the guys. Like, oh man. I get what you're saying.
But you saw that great New York Times interview he did where he talked about how making these albums, Lemonade and 444, was sort of like couples therapy for them. And she just finished hers quicker because I think she knew exactly what she wanted to say. And he had to kind of get his thoughts together a little more. But, you know, it was worth the wait.
What I love about Family Feud is that neither person's part is like overpowering the song. You know what I mean? Like Beyonce's chorus is just perfect. Like it's not overdone, but it's perfect. Jay-Z's verses are just like pristine. Like it's just a perfect song.
And the message, nobody wins
Absolutely.
if the family feuds.
Yeah.
Man, that is, you know, that's one of them things that's just right on time right now, man. Like when you look at us as a family of human beings, not just the immediate family, but everything that's going on, the family of Americans, the family of, you know, Palestinians, you know, whatever, like, as a race, like, we feuding and things are going crazy right now, so.
This is my favorite Jay-Z and Beyonce
You mean like
song.
Hollywood?
Don't get me started, man. But I feel like, I mean, because
I think you're right.
Yeah, because most of their songs together, it feels like they just don't feel natural to me.
It doesn't feel like they're on the same song.
Exactly. Like their best songs together generally are the ones where one does like little to nothing and it's just the other one's song.
Yeah.
Right? But like Family Feud, it's both of them like have like a perfect contribution to the song. Like it just fits, man.
Yeah.
So I think we're all in agreement. This Grammy is definitely going to go to Jay and Beyonce for Family Feud. The best rap song highlights the songwriters, right?
Yeah, it's the song versus the performance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the songwriters, Cardi B with Bodak Yellow, Rhapsody's Sassy, Jay-Z's The Story of O.J., Kyle, you mentioned that, Kendrick's Humble, and Danger Mouse with Run the Jewels and Big Boy, Chase Me.
What percentage does Kodak own of Bodak Yellow?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I heard 40%.
His name is in the credits.
I saw something online about 40% of the song is owned by Kodak Black. So he needs to come up there with.
I hope not.
I know.
Word.
He's detained at the moment.
The Story of OJ is an incredible song. The message, I was kind of upset with 444 because it wasn't like Jay as like the ultimate lyricist Jay, and I was like, what is this? Partially because of Ralph, like and Will, like after like several deep discussions, they kind of helped me look at it from a different like vantage point. And one of the things is just like the importance of what's being said and how it's being delivered. I think the messages on this album are very easy to digest, and I think that is very central to why it's been able to resonate with so many people so quickly. For that reason alone, it should definitely be the winner this year.
First, I want to say this is the category that Tribe should have been in. Even though you have like a great case for Jay, I could see Kendrick winning this one. Like the writing on this song is crazy. Every verse is just packed with bars, and he just kills it flow-wise too. It just feels like the one that like Kendrick is the most likely to win for me.
Well, who should win?
I'll say Kendrick by a hair. Like not by a lot. And I think that, you know, like it's easy to sort of lose sight of that because of like just how much the song was around. But like when I first heard it, I lost my mind when I first heard it.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I mean, like it's a fantastic song.
I think it's a lyrical song, Humble, that presents itself as a hype song.
Yep.
And I think he was able to hide a lot of messages and a lot of storytelling in his verses and even in the hook. I think he was just able to do a really, really excellent job of being himself, but still appealing to the people who would be on a Grammy committee.
Also, I would say about Humble, man, it was just such a big record that never died out. Like, it was so consistent. Like, it was top 10 played on the radio for the whole 2017. Like, that and DNA, he had two big records. The songs never died out. You know, My Left Stroke just went viral. One of the best moments, and yeah, I think it does edge out Story of OJ.
And I feel like Humble had a lot of licensing stuff. Wasn't Humble for the NBA Finals?
Finals,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, I believe you're right.
And it wasn't just that, like it was in a couple movies, I believe, too.
And it's boom bap hip hop, man. Damn.
It is.
Over
It's
Michael
boom bap.
All All right, well, it's clear. We got this wrapped up, and the Grammys are definitely, well, we hope it's definitely gonna go to Kendrick's Humble. Hit us up at REVOLT TV, hashtag Grammys Go To. Right now, guys, we're gonna talk about Best Rap Album. We got Jay-Z's Important, 444. Kendrick's iconic Damn. Migos' blockbuster Culture. Rhapsody's Razor Sharp, Layla's Wisdom. Tyler, the Creator's Open-Hearted Flower Boy.
I would have gave Tribe over Tyler.
Really?
Not to hate on Tyler, but I would have had Thank You for Your Service in this rap category over Tyler.
So you would take out Tyler and not Migos?
Migos was a big album. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, Migos was unavoidable.
When they say culture, I mean, that's what it did. Like, Migos touched the culture. Like, they had consistent hits in the streets, the streams, the club, the radio, the charts. They did everything, man. And you know, like I said, they continue to be like just the fashion. Like, you seen a lot of guys wearing like the choker chains around their neck. You know, we come from, you know, my chain hanging down on my, you know, rest in peace, Prodigy. We come from that generation. But
here's the argument against Migos: is do they make albums? You know what I mean? Like, they had a lot of fire tracks, but was it an album? Like, you listen to the Kendrick record front to back and then play it backwards and it does some, I mean, he's making albums.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing that they should win, but I'm saying that I would have picked Culture to stay. If we took out one album and replaced it with Tribe's Thank You for Your Service, we got it for here, Thank You for Your Service, I would have took out Tyler. Yeah, she was asking me, would I take out Tyler over
Yeah, I
Migos,
said that because I felt like Tyler's album was more cohesive and more complete than Migos. But I think Migos being included in this, again, speaks to what the Grammys trying to do, like accepting the culture and moving forward with the culture. So yeah, I think you're right. I was just asking.
Yeah, and I also think with the Culture album, it also falls into who's listening. And I say that because there's certain people that listen to the album straight through, and they're like, for what that is, what that represents, that's like it. I'm not upset with any of the nominations in this category. I think they're all well deserved.
Yeah, I think they did a great
job. Yeah.
You gotta pick one.
Who do I feel had the best album? I think Kendrick had the best album. I think that album, from top to bottom, was just musically, it sounded amazing, and rap-wise, it sounded amazing. He touched on important topics and not just the ones that we tend to associate him with, but he talked on like life stuff that we tend to overlook when we think about Kendrick. So I think that album hit, and then it was a cultural moment that was able to last throughout the entire year solely off of the music. So it wasn't the videos, it wasn't memes around it or trends around it. Like, people were into the album and the songs and the single, and that's what kept the legs going for the entire year. But I think Jay deserves it as equally. Everything we said earlier about the album in terms of like the things it speaks on, the how it's easy to digest, but it's also a very cohesive project, which in this era of hip hop I think is very rare. Like, everyone is so busy trying to be the most eclectic artist of all time. So you have this record for this demo and this record for that demo, whereas it was clear that Jay was like, I'm making my album. This is my album. I'm not trying to follow, because even with like Magna Carta, he touched on the same topics for the most part. So I think content-wise, it was a similar album, but you still had like Fuck With Me, I Know, You Know I Got It, or you had Tom Ford. Yeah, exactly. Whereas with this go around, even the songs that weren't singles on the album still felt like it was like, I'm hitting these marks, I'm checking off the list of what a rapper does. Whereas this one was just a body of work, and I feel like, so without all of the smoke and mirrors of like a traditional album release, we still were able to focus on this project solely because of the music. Yeah, the footnotes kept it going to an extent, but the initial conversation about this was just the music. And I think the fact that he was able to kind of stop pop culture for a moment just off of the music that he was making, I think that should be awarded
Well, which one, man? You put up good arguments for both.
I think 444 should take the cake in this one.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about 444 is that when else have you learned so many things that you never knew about somebody on their 13th album?
That's true.
I mean, like, you're learning about Jay-Z's family, you're learning about Jay-Z's infidelity, you're learning about Jay-Z's childhood, you're learning about his mother, like, you're learning about all these things.
He goes to therapy.
Yeah, right. And like, we've been listening to him for years and we just never knew any of this stuff, right? And he, you know, like, he changed up his flow. Right, so like his flow used to be really like precise and sharp. Now it's a lot more vulnerable. It's a lot more not as composed. And it was really interesting to hear Jay for an album not be, in rapper mode. Yeah, right. Like not be the composed, sharp artist that we always see him as. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's very cohesive. Like No ID just murdered this album. It wasn't like a razzle dazzle of. You know what I mean? Like, it was just simple, to the point, and poignant. 444 and Damn are really, like, dead even to me. They really are. They're dead even because, like, 444, the way that it captures common themes, like you said, while also delving, like, so deep into Kendrick's faith, that's, like, a one-of-a-kind album that you're not going to get from anybody, whether it's artists younger or older than. It's really,
I only can choose one. Which one is it, baby boy?
And if I gotta choose one, I'll choose Damn, man.
I definitely gotta give props to Rhapsody, man. Like,
yeah.
Thank you.
Her album. If you haven't listened to it, I mean, obviously everybody here has listened to it, but people watching this, if you haven't listened to it, is, as I like to say, as advertised. Like, it definitely belongs running in the pack with the fellas. I think she's lyrical. She told some stories just as personal and poignant on her album as, Jay-Z and Kendrick. Like, she talks about being called ugly. She talks about being a dark-skinned woman and how people have discriminated against that. She also has fun. Kendrick is on her album, and the two of them go back and forth in a lyrical joust, which is dope. And Ninth Wonder on the production, which is incredible. I really feel like if Rhapsody was one of them artists that came out in the 90s, like, I think she would be heralded like Lauryn Hill and Queen Latifah and all of that. I think she's just that dynamite. With that being said, I think I'm gonna lean towards Kendrick as well in this category. Kendrick, just the aggression on this album, the lyrical gymnastics on this, like every song, it feels like he's pushing himself to the limit as an MC, because, it's one thing just to push yourself to the limit stylistically, but lyrically, and how he's giving you the subliminal messages, and the art of storytelling is not dead when you got a guy like Kendrick. I mean, Jay did it very well too, but you listen to the song where he's talking about his father almost got killed by Top Dog,
yeah.
and you on the edge of your seat to like, yo, how is this joint gonna end?
Yeah. And
then he ends it, and it's like, this album gave me more of those, oh!
Yeah.
It gave me a lot of those moments. And, him and Dave Free and Punch and, all of those guys, a.k.a. the little homies, and with the videos where, him and Rihanna doing a little bit of the Harley Quinn and Joker and the loyalty. I really enjoyed this love video. I enjoyed that, where him and the girl are arguing and fighting and loving and, on the beach. Yeah. I like that video a lot. But the thing that I really enjoyed is that how he just came out the gate with two Mac 11s. Humble in DNA, make no mistake, rawest, uncompromised hip hop at its highest form. And it took me back to the 1990s, where you could put out a record like Brooklyn Zoo, or you could put out How Many MCs Must Get Dissed as your single. Like, you on there, you just spitting, you going for broke, you trying to knock every other MC's head off, and you giving a little bit of a message. And those are his two biggest records to me this year. Like, I don't have all the numbers, but those records played the whole 2017, stayed in rotation, killed every festival, killed every concert.
Humble went number one.
Humble number one.
Several weeks.
Kung Fu Kenny. I'm going to give this one to Kung Fu Kenny.
You know, it's no bold statement to say that Kendrick is the best rapper alive right now. I don't think that's a bold statement to me. And it still needs to be said. And he makes albums, you know, on a level that we haven't really seen in hip hop. I think if you look at Good Kid, Mad City, the way that narrative was constructed, if you look at To Pimp a Butterfly, and now this record, he has made 3 amazing classic albums. Like at Mass Appeal, we talked about the new classics. You know, it usually takes a long time to anoint something a classic. And, you know, it was 5 years this year since Good Kid. And during that time, there's not been that many actual classic albums, but I think Kendrick has made 3.
Yeah.
You know?
Or 4.
If you count Section 80.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could throw that, but I'm saying since Good Kid, right? So, like, you know, he's just operating on another level.
I think when this album came out, the appreciation for Pimp a Butterfly went up.
Yes, it did.
Because it was a polarizing album. I love Pimp a Butterfly. Yeah. Wesley's Theory is still my favorite record, you know, from that. I love that, but it was very polarizing. I remember sitting down with people who, I ain't saying no names, but they produce platinum upon platinum of your favorite rappers and people who we all respect opinion, and they telling me like Pimp a Butterfly ain't it, and I'm like, nah, listen to that joint, you know what I'm saying? But it feel like when this Damn dropped, people just went back and revisited, like he's like, yo.
Well, he didn't compromise. We said this maybe off camera or something, but he never compromised. He just changed the strategy. He changed the game plan. And, you know, this album, it is tough because 444 is a very special record also. It's one great producer, one great rapper. And the irony also of the Grammys like really going in on hip hop this year, to your point, we appreciate this Jay-Z record because we've been along for the whole ride. And so it's coming from him, you know, coming from the man that gave us Big Pimpin', you know, to hear these things, it's just a revelation, and it changes, you know, you reach people, you know, Jay can reach people that someone else is not going to reach with these messages. So it's a very tough thing. When you're talking about the Grammys, though, I think, or any award, it's always like what should win and what is going to win, you know, or what do you want to win, what should win, what will win. I think that 444 had the best rollout of any album ever in hip-hop, you know. The videos, the advertising, the footnotes, like all of that was amazing. There's a big billboard in Times Square still, you know. So it's tough. I actually think 444 will win the Grammy. I think probably Damn is a superior constructed album, but it's just, you know, I don't go back and listen to 444 the way I listen to Damn. I play Marcy Me and I play the Junior Gong joint, and those are like the ones that I keep going back to just to like hear a cool record. Exactly. But like, you know, you can't deny they're both great albums. There's no like loser in this.
Yeah, to that point, I feel like the Grammys have really been just presented like a gift on a silver platter with these albums. I think, like, because this is for best rap album, right? And even for album of the year, these two albums, 444 and Damn, are nominated, and it's like, you know, this is the time when hip hop is everything, and where this is the foundation of our country and our culture and our youth. So they have their pick, and they can't make a wrong decision, really. They can go with either of these guys, but for me personally, I would love to see Kendrick win it, for the reasons that everybody at this table have already brought up, but just for the simple fact that Kendrick levels up every single time he drops an album, and he adjusts his lyrics, he adjusts his approach, he adjusts pretty much everything every time he does an album, but he still does it in a magnificent way. And I think to not award that would be a shame, but I also understand that Jay is Jay, and Jay did something very powerful. So you can't really make a wrong decision, but I would go with Kendrick.
If we can handpick it, maybe Kendrick gets rap and Jay gets album of the year.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
This is the big one. This is the main event. We're going to be talking about the album of the year. Now, of course, you can hit us up at REVOLT TV with the hashtag GrammysGoTo. The categories we have for album of the year, guys. We talked about Kendrick, we talked about Hov, but we always leave out Childish Gambino. Awake My Love is also nominated. Lord's Melodrama's in there, as well as 24K Magic by Bruno Mars.
You know the Grammys are gonna pull a hocus pocus and give it to Lord, right? You know they gonna do that. You know they gonna do that, right?
Yeah.
Well, Bruno's another one too.
Well, I'm gonna get to Bruno. I'm gonna say Childish Gambino first, right? Like, I thought the album was dope, but you know we only got that one song with it, and you know he was doing so many, you know, great. He's doing Star Wars and you know so many great things in Hollywood. I don't think he was able to really give his full attention to capitalizing every way on this album as possible. Great piece of work, but when I think of album of the year, I think of something that just dominated the entire landscape for the entire year, and so I would have to disqualify him from winning. But damn, that Bruno Mars, man. Bruno Mars actually came out in 2016, around Thanksgiving time.
It's crazy to think that because it did last the whole year.
Yeah.
They just dropped the single.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just dropped it. He's gonna be, from what I understand, him and Cardi are opening the Grammys up with that performance. You know, him and Weeknd, that's the closest thing we got to Michael Jackson right now, you know, and Beyonce too, but you know, him and Weeknd, you know, as far as guys go, you know, they doing it so big. I wouldn't be surprised and I wouldn't be mad if Bruno won it, but I think being in New York, album of the year, you gotta give it to the king of New York.
Like someone here earlier said how like the Grammys are notorious for like awarding the more legacy artists in the bigger categories, and who's the legacy artist in this category. So for once that might work in our favor in terms of hip hop community. Also I think we gotta think like hip hop heads all have like their favorite Jay albums, and none of those albums have won like even best rap album from the Grammys. Like the Blueprint didn't win, Black Album didn't win. Reasonable Doubt, I don't even know if it was nominated. So I feel like this might be one of those years where the Grammys tries to get it right again, and Jay might be the recipient of getting it right. And it's not just for like the other reasons we might have mentioned earlier, but I think he has one album Grammy win. They're mostly for songs or like the rap song category type of thing. So I think this is the year where Jay had an album and it competed in every way, shape, form with every other big album this year, and this is the year where we can kind of get it right for not rewarding like the Black Album or the Blueprint or Reasonable Doubt. So
I wouldn't be surprised if Bruno Mars pulls it out the bag either, because this is the Grammys and not every Grammy voter is a hip hop lover. Newsflash, like that's, you know. But if we're talking about what should win, yes, I think it's 444 hands down. It's a statement that caps a great career. I don't know what Jay could possibly do after this record. You know, I feel like this is the way you go out on top. No, but I mean, you know, like he goes out on top with this, with the armful of Grammys, and takes it home.
That's Jordan with the last shot.
Yeah.
This could be Jay with the last shot, even though he's had a lot of those last shots.
Yeah, but I say Black Album was the first last shot.
Yeah, but this right here, like he said, marching with every quarter,
is
different.
This is just sacred ground.
Yeah, because it'll just be him, Outkast, and Lauren for rappers that have won that award. So, and I also think him winning this separates him from the certain conversations that he's in. So whether it's him, Nas, or him, Big, and Pac in terms of the best rappers, like none of them have this accolade. So him getting this, he separates himself not even just in the hip hop conversations, but then when we look at like him having more #1s than Elvis. So like, I think this does more for the legacy of Jay than I think it does for Kendrick's career. And I think that's another reason why I'm hoping that it goes in Jay's favor.
It's crazy though, because if Jay wins, it'll be like the first time since 2004 that a rap artist won the album of the year. So
it's like a lot of history is kind of like floating on Jay's winning this. So I think just in terms of where we are in culture, not even just music, but just in culture, it could be a big statement with Kendrick or Jay winning. But definitely with Jay, like he's the elder statesman, and we look at Jay in a different way. So him getting this kind of accreditation, which we all feel like he's probably should have gotten a few times in the past, I think it just makes a bigger statement for the culture.
I think it's ill too, because you know Jay is, I don't want to say love-hate, I don't know if it's that extreme, but you know Jay is, he's boycotted the Grammys on a few occasions too. Like he just boycotted it recently, just like a few years ago. So it's interesting to see the type of volleying they do back and forth, but he's getting a lifetime Grammy this year as well. So boy, it feels like the stars are aligned.
It's a moment. Like Jay's career has had a lot of moments. You know, the Fade to Black concert. You know, like there were certain moments, and you know, for the Grammys to be in New York, and the positions he's taken politically, and the year of the first Trump year. You know, all these things is what a moment that would be.
I don't think any artist on here would be mad as well if Jay won. I think this would be the one time as an artist, you know, Bruno, Childish Gambino, Lord, if Hov won, I don't think, like, if they stood up and gave him a standing round of ovation, I don't think it'd be fake. I think they'd be happy. He's somebody who they've looked up to the entire career, you know, somebody we've been following, so.
It's up to the Grammys to not mess this up.
Yes.
Grammys, don't mess it up. You heard this lady.
All right, you heard our voices, you heard our back and forths. I think it's clear here that Jay-Z wins Album of the Year. So hopefully, Grammys, please, just make this happen. All right, guys, you heard us talk about Best Rap Performance, Best Rap Song Performance, Best Rap Song, Best Rap Album, Album of the Year. And you heard our thoughts, you heard our conversations, you heard us all go back and forth. And we also heard about who we think is going to be the best new artist. I think we all agreed SZA. For Best Rap Song, we all agreed on Humble. For Best Rap Album, we sided with Kendrick's Damn. For Album of the Year, we went with 444. For Best Rap Performance, is it Bad and Bougie? Or nah, we're still going to go with Humble, but Bad and Bougie's up. Bodak Yellow is up there. First and foremost, thank you guys for checking this out, for listening to us. You could be anywhere in the world watching something else, but you watched us. Thank you, Kad. Thank you, Shaheem, Rob, Kiana, Will, and Kay Holla. Thank you for having this discussion. You guys, I mean, we broke the Grammys down. Hopefully they listen to us. All we can do now is just watch and see.